kitchen right now, Trustee Laskin. Just before we start, someone told me, I think I heard that you are a brand new grandmother. Is that true?
I am a brand new grandmother. My grandson will be 3 months old next week.
That's so nice. So you're going to be making him lots of chicken soup, and you're going to pass down the chicken soup recipe because his dad, I think your son, is a chef. Is that correct?
Correct. His dad is a chef who's given me some tips on doing a much richer colored chicken soup.
And how do you make richer colored chicken soup?
Well, I'll explain in a minute,
Okay.
but first I'm going to wash my hands because when I start, I want to make sure my hands are clean. So I have just washed my hands, and this is how I make my soup. So here's a big pot that I have put 16 cups of water in, and these are the last 4 cups. And I've cut up all the vegetables. I've got carrots and parsnips and onion and sweet potato and celery and garlic. And I have salt and pepper, about a teaspoon of salt and about a half a teaspoon of pepper. And then, of course, you can't make chicken soup without chicken. And my son's trick is to have ground the chicken prior to putting it in the soup. So all the chicken bones, skin, and all the drippings go in. And then that actually comes to a boil. And in the last 15 minutes of cooking, I would add in parsley and I would add in fresh dill. And lo and behold, after that cooks down a couple of hours and it's strained, it looks like this, where I've kept the carrots and I've cut them up. And now what I'm going to do is make matzo balls that are going to go in that chicken soup.
What is a matzo ball? Because I don't think everybody knows.
Well, a matzo ball is made from matzo meal. And matzo meal is ground up matzo that you can see here. And what happens is you beat a couple of eggs, which I'm doing now. And then into the eggs, you put in some oil, or you can use the fat from the chicken soup, whatever you want to do, and you just whisk it up. And then you throw in the matzo meal, which is already seasoned, and it has some garlic and some pepper and some celery seed. And then you blend it up, and the magic is that this actually has to go in the fridge for 20 minutes. So what I've done is I've made some that I'm going to take from the fridge. And it is already made up. And you can see that the thin matzo mixture now gets very thick. And the magic is you take a teaspoon, and remember my hands are clean, and you take about a teaspoon size, and the soup has to be boiling. So the soup is boiling, and you make a round ball, and you see the oil in the matzo meal mixture makes a nice round ball, and you plop it into the soup. And it's the size of a golf ball, and you can see a few of them cooking. They're up in the surface now. I won't make them all, but I will, when this is over, finish it. And then a miracle happens, because after a few minutes of cooking, magic, switching pots, they become big and full-size actual matzo balls. So they go from tiny little small things to great big things, and they're nice and fluffy and delicious. And that's how I make my matzo ball chicken soup.
That sounds amazing. And a lot of people make matzo ball soup for a Jewish holiday called Passover. But would you say that you make matzo ball soup for your family all year round?
I always try to keep some in the freezer because you never know who's going to have a cold or who's going to have sniffles and not feel very well. And there's nothing like comfort food when you don't feel very well. And that's where the chicken soup goes. It goes from the freezer to one of my kids' homes.
Would you say that chicken soup it's a little bit like medicine then?
I'm not really sure of the medicinal properties of it, but I will say that it is magic. It's a magic elixir, and it soothes and warms the heart and brings back all kinds of memories, and that's the beauty of the chicken soup.
I think you told me before that your chicken soup recipe is not one that you made up. It came from your grandmother. Is that right?
Over the years, I remember, and I was very lucky because I had my grandmother in my life till I was almost 20. And my grandma Lisa would have made the soup for the family holidays. And then obviously my mother began to take over. And then I was really, really blessed too, because my mother lived till 88. But during her later years, her daughters took over the cooking of the chicken soup for the high holidays. But that's why it brings back such memories.
What you so much for giving us the secret of your chicken soup and showing us. So now let's move on to Trustee Wonk. What twist are you going to show us on chicken soup today?
It's coconut chicken soup.
Coconut chicken soup. Wow.
Yes. Then let's take a quick look at the ingredients. It's actually very simple. I don't know whether you can see it clearly. Of course, we have chicken, and then we have the coconuts. You can get just one. You don't need two. So I've got myself one coconut and one young coconut. So they complement each other. But if you don't find a young coconut, you can just find a regular coconut. So regular coconut will provide you with that kind of fragrance to the soup, and for the younger one, it gives you the sweetness. So it gives you a very special flavor and fragrance to your soup. And the other ingredients are, you can see two slices of ginger, and a very small piece of orange peel. They are dried. It looks like this. It's actually a very special kind of tangerine, and the peel get dried, and it's as worthy as gold when it gets to say 30 years old. And I have roughly about quarter cup of goji berry, and they're dry. So all you have to do is rinse it. You don't need to soak it anything. So rinse it. Same thing with the orange peel. Rinse it, and again rinse the red dates as well. Okay. So the last but not least, the ingredient that provides that kind of balance, nutrition to your soup is here it is. It's the steak, isn't it? So what is this? So it's called Chinese yam. It's a family of the tuber vegetable.
So what does it taste like for those of us that have never tasted it?
It's like a potato, but it's not. It's kind of like starchy. It's too kind of bland. But then again, for us, it does carry a medicinal property that will so-called balance your internal energy. Okay, so you just peel it very easily. Cut it into pieces. So about, I would say again, 20 grams here. Now we come to the last ingredient, the coconut. Now, again, always say this is the most difficult part of the preparation. But when you get the hang of it, get used to it, it's actually quite easy. You can see that there are eyes here at the top here, the 3 eyes. So all you have to do is get either a screwdriver or a piece of sharp thing, or even a piece of nail, and hammer it in so that you can puncture holes to it. So that's what you do. You puncture holes to it. So of course for people, so you can see that.
Is this
so you have to puncture the holes before the water, the coconut water can come out, right? After the water comes out, you can see. No, I don't have the container. I don't know whether you can see it.
Do you mix these ingredients together?
So after you crack it, and then you take it out, and you can shake the brown skin out of it, and you can get the coconut. So what I do is to cut it into pieces. You can slice it into very thin slices, and then when you have all the ingredients, I'm going to make it quick here. I'm going to make it bigger pieces. So put it in the water. Put all the ingredients in the water. The coconut, big carrots, the yam, 2 slices ginger, the orange peel, and of course, the chicken. The chicken you don't need to cut into small pieces. I will usually cut into the big, larger pieces. And some people will get rid of the skin as well, so get rid of the fat. But usually I'm too lazy for that. I will just skim it at the end. So, put it
So
in
how long will that cook for?
Put it to boil and skim it, and then of course lower the heat to simmer for an hour. After an hour, all you have to do is that add the red dates, because the dates they don't cook, they don't disintegrate when you cook it too long. So put the red dates in and let them cook for another, I would say, 15 minutes, half an hour to half an hour. So when it's almost done, basically you're trying to cook the soup for about 2 hours. 10 minutes before it's done, you add the goji berry. So of course now it's not really boiled yet, but I'm going to just show it to you. Just okay. Towards the end of the 10 minutes, put the goji berry in.
Well, that looks incredible, amazing. It's such interesting, different kinds of ingredients together.
This is a soup that will really help you to detoxify, help you to get a really healthy complexion. It's all good for you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That looks fantastic. Now let's move on to Bev. Bev, I'm very curious to see, I heard that you're making kreplach.
Yep.
Can you tell everybody, because I don't think anybody's even ever heard, there's lots of people out there that have never even heard what kreplach is.
I think that making homemade kreplach stopped being popular quite a long time ago because it's kind of a lot of trouble. But it isn't difficult.
And you are Trustee Cherno's mother, and you are the grandmother of Pippa and Greta. And how many in total grandchildren do you have?
9.
9, beautiful. And would you say that you are known for your chicken soup?
I make it for Passover and Rosh Hashanah.
Kreplach are actually, for those of us that don't know, they're sort of like Jewish dumplings, correct?
They're not
No?
like dumplings exactly. They're like wontons.
Okay, so let's see how to make them.
I'll show you. The square would be this size.
Almost like, it reminds me a little bit of like a ravioli. Almost.
Exactly.
Right.
Every culture seems to have its own version of foods that every culture has. And this would be like, that is exactly what it's like, a ravioli or a wonton. And so you would take this, and once you put the filling in it, of course it's sitting down, you put the filling in, make a triangle of it,
Right.
and with with wet fingers, you would pinch it closed, like that. When I did it this time, I did all different shapes, and it really doesn't matter what shapes you want, and I'll just show you a plate full. Can you see that?
I can see that. So inside those kreplach are the ground chicken.
It's the chicken
onion.
and ground chicken and onion. There's a square and a circle and a rectangle and a triangle, and you can kind of get creative, I guess, and make them any shape that you want. And then when that is done, you have had on the stove a pot of water that's boiling away. You put the kreplach in that pot, and the kreplach do exactly what Shelley's dumplings did. They sink to the bottom when you first put them in, and as they simmer, they rise to the top. And once they have risen to the top and simmered for a little bit, they're done. You can then spoon them out and add them to your chicken soup whenever you're ready to have your chicken soup.
That sounds like if a good bowl of chicken soup with your kreplach is really a whole meal.
It's especially a whole meal because people usually have second helpings.
Thank you so much. That really tasty, and I love the fact that you can make different shapes. So we are.
Well,
going to
I
need...
can. I think anyone can, but traditionally they were triangles or half moons.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Great. Okay, so let's hear now from Lindsay. Lindsay, who is Rachel's mother-in-law. So we've been learning about amazing different kinds of chicken soup, and we learned about kreplach, which goes into sort of Jewish chicken soup. So what are you going to make for us today?
I'm gonna make chicken wonton soup.
Let's see how you do it.
Yeah, I have a ground chicken, and I put garlic, ginger, and an onion, and a little bit salt and pepper, white pepper. Then little bit wine.
Yeah.
Then green onion. Then I mix together, so that's like a dough. And I have the wonton wrap here.
The wrappers.
So I'm gonna make. I already made some here.
Oh, those look so good. So good.
And I'm going to show you. Put a little bit here.
Right.
Then I rub it up. Put a little bit water in the rub. Then I cover like this.
And then do you put that in the soup directly, or that goes in a boiling water first?
I boil the water first. Then I cook the soup individual. So when the wonton is cooked, then I strain it and put in the soup. So in this way, the soup is nice and clear. It's not like too much flour or something in there.
That looks delicious. Is your chicken soup recipe, is that something you made up, or that's something you learned from your family?
Well, my mother, she used to do it too. Yeah.
You could do it with ground chicken, or you could do it with ground pork.
Or you can do with shrimp too. So now I have a soup here. Yeah.
Oh, that looks delicious. Delicious.
Yeah, I use the chicken stock.
Nice.
Then make the soup. Then I have parsley, Taiwanese parsley on the top.
Taiwanese parsley.
Or just Oriental parsley. Coriander.
Oh, coriander. Okay. Let's see that. Can we see it one more time? Can we see the soup one more time?
Yeah.
Oh, that looks amazing. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for teaching us.
You're welcome.
We're going to go into the kitchen of Rachel and daughters. Trustee Wong made that fascinating soup with coconut and berries, and we learned about wontons and kreplach. You guys are so lucky because you have Jewish heritage and you have Asian heritage, and I think that you are incredibly lucky. So just talk to me a little bit about what that means to you, to have both heritages in your life.
Having Jewish grandparents and Taiwanese grandparents means that, we could make chicken soup a lot of different ways, and it's also something that's special because it's passed down from them, and we can also pass it down to our kids when we're older, and it's just a special thing to remember.
That was beautifully said. Okay, why don't you guys, our junior cook, show us a little bit about how you do it?
Okay, well, first you just get one of these thingies, and you dip your fingers in water, and you put water all over the edges, so it'll be able to stick.
This looks to me a little bit like a combination of your grandmother Lindsay and your grandmother Bev's recipes. It looks like it's a little bit of a combination. Am I right?
And it's also the recipe from the chicken soup.
Next, you can just get around a teaspoon, a little more, of the chicken mix. And then you're just gonna fold it up into a triangle. And you're gonna make sure that all the edges stick together, because if they don't while it's cooking, it'll fall apart.
Mm-hmm. So are those just wonton wrappers you could get from the store, right?
Yes.
Like if you're your grandmother Bev, you're making it from scratch, but you can also, if you don't have the time, you could just buy them from the store, right?
Yep.
Well, now you can just fold up these two parts at the bottom.
Like this. And next.
Looks like a little hat.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And
so-
then, are you guys going to put that in boiling water at some point, or are you going to put that in soup?
we put it in boiling water, and then we're also making a stock. So these ones are ones that we've cooked in the boiling water. They look
Yummy. Very expert, very gourmet. And now you're going to tell me a little bit about the soup?
Yeah, so for the chicken stock, we put, we have a plate of stuff. So we have chicken here, we have celery, carrots, and an onion. And then to add flavor, we made a bouquet garni. So it's just like a bunch of herbs and to like add flavor. So
Right.
here we have rosemary, celery, bay leaves, and parsley. And then you tie a string and you can tie it to the pan, like the handles, so that you can take it out easily. But it adds a lot of flavor. And you can put any herbs you want. You can put anything in it.
Let's see the soup. Oh, yum. That's nice. And so tonight, I think I know what dinner's going to be,
Yeah.
right? And did you guys tell me that these recipes came from the book Chicken Soup, Chicken Soup?
Yeah, we followed the recipe.
Oh, we've got a bowl of it to see, right?
This is the final.
Nice. So if all the kids follow the recipes in the book, this is what they're going to have.
Yeah.
Amazing. Did you guys like the book?
Yeah.
Cute, eh?
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. Like, you've done a terrific job, and I could see, Greta, that you have some cooking lessons behind you. And Pippa, you're like a natural. And you've got, all this legacy, your grandmothers, clearly they've taught you as well. Guys, thank you so much. It was a lot of fun and really appreciate it.